for public schools of Sindh, focusing on effective delivery and ensuring learning outcomes are at the desired level. The heart of this program is the Teacher Empowerment Program. This equips teachers with digital training modules with offline functionality, a game changer for remote schools, particularly in the far-flung areas of Sindh. Bilingual lesson plans and classroom support tools aligned with the Sindh curriculum. Assessments and adaptive strategies to improve student learning outcomes. And to follow it up, we will conduct an impact study comparing learning outcomes in schools before and after the intervention. This initiative, we hope, will strengthen foundational literacy and numeracy, boost teacher confidence, and create a scalable model for Sindh's public education. Together with the government of Sindh, we can transform learning outcomes for millions of children across the Sindh province. Friends, over the next 2.5 days, may our panels remain unscripted, our disagreements disciplined, and our curiosity unashamed. Let us commit ourselves to what this festival affirms, that the only sustainable form of power is the power to persuade through evidence, empathy, and example. The Sindh government is an enthusiastic advocate of culture and literary events in the province. The Chief Minister, Syed Murad Ali Shah's support for the festival underscores the commitment of the government of Sindh in promoting literacy and cultural activities across the province. Before I close, my deepest thanks to our sponsors whose support makes this gathering possible. To our advisory board whose wisdom shapes its spirits. And to each of you for bringing your minds, your books, and your best questions. Welcome to KLF 2026. May we leave with fewer uncertainties, larger sympathies, and better language for the work ahead. Thank you all.
Sorry? Thank you, Arshad, for so clearly setting out the theme of this KLF. And I totally agree, the need to educate and equip our youth is, we cannot underscore that because this combustion must stop. There are so many sessions, interesting sessions on in the next 2.5 days, as Arshad said, and there are several on AI. And I would highly recommend that you go to some of them because they're very, very interesting. I would now request Mr. Alexis, I'm going to say this all wrong, I know that. Chaha Tahinsky, the Consul General of France, to please come and make his remarks. Thank you. I'm so sorry, I'm apologizing.
That's all right. That's all right. So you may just call me Mr. Shah, because that's my name, and after 3.5 years now in Karachi, you could say I've gone local, and I take pride in it. So, dear Arshad Hussain, distinguished speakers of this opening session, dear Chief Minister Syed Murad Ali Shah, dear Senator Sherry Rahman, Excellencies and colleagues, dear guests of this 17th edition of the Karachi Literature Festivals, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is a great honor for me to be here today at the opening of this 17th Karachi Literature Festival, a gathering that celebrates knowledge, heritage, and the richness of human culture. This year's theme, Literature in a Fragile World, reminds us of the rapidly evolving international environment. As a diplomat, I'm here the Consul General of France, as you all know. So as a diplomat, I must say that over recent years and months, the world has been changing at an amazing and sometimes frightening pace. An acceleration in history that one can witness only once or twice in a lifetime. The unfortunate terrorist attack that took place earlier today at Imam Barga in Islamabad, following the attacks last Saturday all over across Baluchistan, come as a grim reminder that unfortunately terrorism does not belong to the past. And as a representative of the French government, I certainly must state in the strongest terms, again, the condemnation by my government of these heinous crimes. And I can only offer on my personal behalf my condolences to both the government of Pakistan and families of the victims. But all over the world, we've seen all conflicts that brutally resurfaced with new acuity, threatening to result in devastating consequences for all parties involved. I will not elaborate on what we saw here last year between India and Pakistan, but it's all on your minds. Unexpectedly, we also saw new fault lines appearing, sometimes even between neighbors and close friends. Military alliances that used to be taken for granted suddenly looked, if not contingent, but at least no more forever guaranteed. World powers have had to struggle to prevent escalation of conflicts, trying to bring them more or less under control. And this goes actually far beyond the subcontinent. Just take a look at the war still going on in and around Ukraine, at the dire humanitarian situation still persisting in Gaza, or at the growing tensions surrounding Iran. All of these crises had, and probably still have, the potential to trigger even bigger catastrophes. And I shall not forget, among these world fragilities, certainly the ecological challenges about climate change, floods, that haven't gone anywhere. I'm sure Senator Sherry Rahman will elaborate on that later on. I shall not forget either the challenges that are posed to our economies, not just by renewed trade wars, but also by the introduction of artificial intelligence, definitely. In a world where it looks now easy to have your PhD written by some artificial intelligence application, will there still be a place for writers, artists, filmmakers? These are questions that will need to be answered in the future. For now, with a sigh of relief, nevertheless, we see that major disasters and larger scale wars so far have been avoided. But one should ask, for how long? Whether we like it or not, this is a world that has become different, more brutal, that is being ruled more and more by force under the Leonine principle of might is right, and less by international law. Something that some of us undoubtedly will regret. That's certainly my case, being a lawyer by education. Above all, it reminds us of the utter fragility of our human condition. As human beings, we are confronted with our own finitude as mortals, as we need to realize that our lives are indeed fragile. So, what is it that men and women can achieve in such a brutal world? Not necessarily with the sword, but with other weapons such as literature, art, culture, or science. In his novel La Condition Humaine, published in 1933, translated in English as Man's Fate, French writer André Malraux, who was later to become France's culture minister under Charles de Gaulle, tried to give some answers to this question. In his view, art, literature, culture indeed, cannot be separated from the challenges that we are facing in today's world. As he puts it, one cannot create an art that speaks to man when one has nothing to say. For those who hadn't understood, he continues with questioning. If a man is not ready to risk his life, where is his dignity? That's the main message. Whatever we do and discuss here cannot be separated from world events, because what is at stake ultimately is human dignity and our capacity to give to our lives a sense of purpose, even if that sometimes puts our own lives at risk. In this context, I'm pleased to acknowledge the participation in this year's edition of KLF of a young French scholar. I mean, he's not that young anymore, but younger than me. Mr. Nicolas, we say Angel or Engel, who has worked a lot in the past on ancient Persian art, being co-curator of the first exhibition in Paris devoted to the Sasanian Persians, splendor of a forgotten empire, and then trying to break the enigmas of ancient Iran through a further exhibition devoted to the Luristan bronzes. He did not hesitate to go out in the field in Afghanistan, where he served as deputy director of the French archaeological mission in Afghanistan between 2009 and 2013, working a few years later on a major exhibition in Paris again titled Afghanistan, Shadows and Legends. And Nicolas Engel also takes a keen interest in Pakistan, as he is now, since 2022, the curator of Afghanistan and Pakistan collections at the Musée Guimet in Paris. That's our National Museum of Asian Arts. This comes as we are still celebrating the 10 years of the French archaeological mission in the Indus Basin here in Sindh. We just had a successful conference last November at the University of Nawabshah with the participation and support of the provincial government of Sindh, which I would like to thank wholeheartedly. Provincial government of Sindh that was represented in Nawabshah by Dr. Azra Pechuho, and I take also this opportunity to thank her once again for the very warm reception we received there at Zardari House, as well as other participants from the federal and provincial ministries of culture. Here in Karachi, we had a very good and informative exhibition devoted to the work of French archaeologists in Pakistan that is still on display at Alliance Française Karachi since last December. As we can see, French archaeologists have been actively involved in uncovering and popularizing worldwide the heritage of ancient Iran, ancient Afghanistan, but also of the Indus Valley civilization, a heritage that is your own and of which you can legitimately be proud of as Pakistanis today. We see this as a matter of respect and indeed dignity, and this is how we in France do approach international cooperation. I have no doubt, therefore, that the discussions that you are going to have here during these 3 days, including the one with Nicolas Engel and Amin Gulgi, I think that's on Sunday afternoon at around 5 p.m., will be stimulating and certainly provide more answers to the somehow philosophical questions that I tried to outline today in my opening remarks. I would like to conclude by extending my deepest gratitude to the organizers of the Karachi Literature Festival, to Pakistani partners, and to all the scholars that work relentlessly in this indeed fragile world to preserve and understand our common heritage that we share as human beings. I thank you very much for your attention and wish you stimulating debates and exchanges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, not just for acknowledging my complete mess up of your name, but allowing me to call you Shah. Thank you. Also, thank you for your kind words and the important work that France is doing to preserve the heritage of the Indus Valley civilization. And as you said, might is right. So I hope I can say this and everyone will smile, but thank you for your attention in this matter. I'd like now to welcome Mr. Lance Dom, the British Deputy High Commissioner in Karachi. Just to say that they've always been huge supporters of KLF, so welcome again.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I start my prepared remarks, just like Alexia, I would like to condemn in the strongest possible terms the terrorist act in Islamabad earlier today. On behalf of the United Kingdom, we stand with Pakistan and we give our condolences to those affected. Ladies and gentlemen, dear Chief Minister, dear Senator, dear Arshad, and Excellencies, and ladies and gentlemen and guests, we're here on a happier occasion because it's a real pleasure to be here today at the Karachi Literature Festival among writers, publishers, students, and readers who remind us why literature continues to matter so deeply in our societies. And as you may be able to hear, I've lost my voice a little bit today, so I'm going to keep my remarks very short. But I would like to thank Arshad and the team at Oxford University Press Pakistan for leading this very important cultural platform. My thanks also go to all of the festival organizers, the partners, the volunteers, and of course the audiences who bring this festival to life year after year. And thanks also to Beach Luxury for this fantastic space. The Karachi Literature Festival holds a special place in Pakistan's cultural landscape. I'm very proud that it was originally initiated by the British Council in order to encourage thoughtful conversation across boundaries. But over time, stewardship of the festival passed to Oxford University Press Pakistan, who have nurtured it and grown it into one of the region's most respected literary gatherings. So congratulations once again to Oxford University Press. It's a great pleasure to welcome this year an outstanding group of UK authors to this year's festival, including Manaz Malik, Lalin Paul, Mohammed Hanif, and Sam Dalrymple. I hope I haven't missed any. This collection of British-Pakistani cooperation speaks to the enduring strength of the literary ties between our two countries. I'm delighted to say also that at this year's festival, the British Council has a library presence, and you can sign up to become a member of the British Council Library here in Karachi. which I very much recommend. It's a wonderful space. Because the relationship between UK and Pakistan is shaped not only by diplomacy, but by the strength of our cultural and creative connections. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a very inspiring and enriching festival. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, and I hope your voice gets better, it comes back, so we can hear more from you. I'd now like to welcome our chief guest, the Honorable Chief Minister of Sindh, Syed Murad Ali Shah. On a personal note, I'd just like to say that I've always found that he's not just incredibly supportive of all things cultural, but all things educational and all things health-related as well, which is a really remarkable and wonderful thing. So please welcome, huge talis, as they say in Pakistan, Syed Murad Ali Shah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Before I start, I also want to condole the tragic incident, talk about the tragic incident today in Islamabad. I pray for the departed. I hope Allah grants them the highest place in Jannah. And we get rid of this terrorism from our country. Distinguished guests, esteemed writers and scholars, representatives of Oxford University Press Pakistan, members of the literary community, friends, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. It's a privilege for me to inaugurate the 17th Karachi Literature Festival, an event that has firmly established itself as one of Pakistan's most significant cultural gathering. Reaching its 17th edition is itself a testament to the vision, commitment, and consistency of the Oxford University Press Pakistan and all those who have nurtured this festival over the years. Each year, the Karachi Festival reminds us that literature is not a luxury. It's a vital force that shapes societies, deepens understanding, and elevates public discourse. This year's theme, Literature in a Fragile World, is both timely and deeply relevant. We live in an age marked by environmental stress, global uncertainty, rapid technological change, and social complexity. In such times, literature serves as a stabilizing and a humanizing force. It preserves memory, nurtures empathy, and enables reflection. It allows us to understand one another across boundaries of language, culture, and geography, and it reminds us that even in the moments of fragility, the human spirit remains the power to imagine, to rebuild, and to hope. Since cultural and literary heritage stands as a powerful testament to this enduring strength of the written word, from Shah Abdul Latif Bhitai and Sachal Sarmast to Sheikh Ayaz and Mirza Khalij Beg and onward to post-independence literary giants, this land has consistently produced voices that speak of tolerance, pluralism, and compassion. These values are not relics of the past. They are urgently needed in today's world and lie at the heart of the conversations taking place at this festival. Karachi itself has reclaimed its place as a vibrant hub of economic, intellectual, and cultural life. Alongside major national and international events, the Karachi Literature Festival contributes significantly to the city's stature by projecting a confident, thoughtful, and creative image of Pakistan to the world. It provides a platform where established authors, emerging writers, students, and readers can engage meaningfully with ideas that shape both individual lives and collective futures. I would like to acknowledge the role of Oxford University Press Pakistan in strengthening Pakistan's intellectual and cultural ecosystem through publishing, educational initiatives, and sustained support for platforms such as KLF. OUP has helped bring together writers, researchers, educators, and readers from across the globe. Such efforts are especially valuable at a time when thoughtful dialogue and informed exchange are more necessary than ever. OUP has created Oxford Education Program for Sindh. We plan to collaborate with OUP to implement this program for improvement in learning outcomes for students of Sindh and to empower our teachers with the skills and resources they need to shape the future. The government of Sindh is proud to support the Karachi Literature Festival and to partner in initiatives that promote learning, creativity, and cultural engagement. We remain committed to encouraging local and regional literature and to provide an enabling environment in which talent can flourish. Supporting arts and literature is not merely cultural patronage, it is an investment in social cohesion, critical thinking, and long-term progress. To our younger generation, I would offer one simple reflection. Time spent with books is time never wasted. Literature broadens horizons, sharpens judgment, and nurtures imagination. To writers and artists, I say continue to create, to question, and to illuminate. Our collective best, I firmly believe, still lies ahead. Before I conclude, a few lines by Lord Byron, and I quote, "But words are things, and a small drop of ink, falling like dew upon a thought, produces that which makes thousands, perhaps millions think." And I don't think a literature festival in the province of Sindh would be complete without a few couplets from Shah Abdul Latif Bhitai. And I would translate this from Sindhi. सुजाणन सदो संग उन्हनि खां उथा जेके पढ़नि परत सां से लहन सचो राह. And I translate, the company of the learned is an ocean without limits. Those who read with devotion find the true path. And one more couplet. इल्म सी उजारो जहालत ऊंधाए जे न पढ़ियो सो पंध में हली रहियो गुमराह. Knowledge brings light, ignorance darkness. One who does not read remains lost upon the path. May this festival continue to produce such drops of ink, sparking thought, dialogue, and understanding far beyond these halls. Let us choose to read with devotion, to find the right path, and take us out of darkness into light. Thank you all. Pakistan Zindabad.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chief Minister, for your continued support. And you're absolutely right, time spent with books is time never wasted, and may we truly find the right path and forever stay in the light. The Chief Minister unfortunately has to leave us now, so please thank you very much for being here, and I'd request Mr. Arshad Said to see him off. Thank you. If the rest of you could just stay in your places, thank you. So we can continue with our program, and I would like to welcome the very erudite, very, very dynamic Senator Sherry Rahman, who is a former Federal Minister for Climate Change, has also been a former Federal Minister for Health and our ambassador to the US. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sherry Rahman.
Good evening. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, Arshad Hussain has gone out to escort the very busy CM, His Excellency Lance Dom, and Alexis Chatahinsky. Have I got that right? Sure. Chatahinsky. And Abbas Nayyar Sahab, pleasure, and of course, Tammy Huck. I never use formers on any of my descriptives, but I guess these things happen. I do have the honor of being the first woman parliamentary leader in the majority of the Senate, and not just a leader of women, obviously. The only other one was Benazir Shahid Bhutto, and that was in the National Assembly. So I obviously have an interest in climate change. It was not something that came to me with my ministry, and obviously also how security works. But first of all, I want to say thank you to OUP for regularly bringing these fabulous convenings to Karachi and Islamabad, both cities I live in. And it's become, and I think as we speak, we have the Lahore Lit Fest also gearing up to start. So what is it that, makes Pakistan run to Lit Fest? I mean, here you have, I read somewhere somebody saying that global capital elites go to Davos, states go to the UNGA, and who else goes where? Let's see. Yeah, climate actors go to the convention of parties popularly known as the COP, and Pakistan throngs to Litfest literally all year round. So these, why are they such magnets of attraction for audiences? They're a lot like our Sufi temples and dargahs, which have a real gravitational pull, and this is the literary other of them, if you like. And this is something I've always thought for a while. It breeds a culture of storytelling, but also authenticity. I mean, art, stories, literature, non-fiction only do well when they're authentic and not always always on a dictated form. So, my a friend in the audience who runs another Lit Fest somewhere, Think Fest, from Lahore said, well, we are looking forward to your speech. I said, I'm certainly not going to take 15 minutes. It's going to be longer than that. That's the power and privilege of keynotes. And I have to do better, obviously I won't, than any Urdu fiction writer, because it's fiction, it's poetry, and it's a voice from the heart. So nothing can do better than that, and I'm sorry I'm even going before you. But here, and of course I see Iftikhar Arif Saab sitting in the audience amongst other cultural greats, and Javed Jabbar Saab, and of course Bari. And it's wonderful to have different sides of our intellectual universe here today. My office gave me my last 2, 3, 4 monographs and articles together on this topic. It was like, I think it can become a book if I pass it on to the OUP. And I looked at it and I laughed and I said, how am I supposed to extract anything from the kitchen sink approach? Everything into the kitchen sink. Anyhow, then I thought about it. I did give them the title, which is Pakistan and the New World Disorder. Everybody is interested in it, but I also wanted to relate it to what we're doing in Pakistan, because my view is you're as strong as your people, all the sum of your parts, really. And we are here as an exciting, diverse sum of many parts. So, first of all, I'm obviously going to set a little bit of a scene on where we stand today. I mean, Pakistan has emerged all right in a very volatile and I would say unpredictable new global disorder. I'm very clear in calling it that. I've been calling it that for the last 2 years, because that's where the global frameworks of peace, security, and rights have gone. They have gone south, to be very honest, although south is not a bad place to be, given that we're in the south of the world. So saying all that, you have, and all speakers have mentioned, including Arshad Saab, about where we stand and what global disorder really means. But it's always perilous to be in disorder. I see peril always, but we should all be trained to see opportunity and choices and hope in challenge. And my favorite quote from Chairman Mao, I have no other quotes, I'm very bad at them, English, Urdu, anything. But this one I remember, which is, everything under heaven is in utter chaos. The situation is excellent. Look at that. He meant that it is disruption sets some sort of stage for regrouping, resetting, and realigning your priorities. And those, I don't mean vulture capital that goes into markets and mines blood diamonds or blood stocks, but there are those. I mean that many individuals, states, groups, communities do find challenges and opportunities and challenges, and but it's very important to define the challenge, to understand it. And I think really in the last few weeks, everyone reading and writing in Pakistan, and the joy of being at a Lit Fest is that everybody's reading and writing. So it's wonderful, really. And what I think we all understand is this is a moment of great peril for even middle powers that have established themselves as battle-hardened, which we have, let's face it, in last May. And we have, obviously, an opportunity in navigating the challenge. But having said that, we do have a situation where on our western borders you have Afghanistan, which has become restive. Parts of its terrain has become hostile for Pakistan because of the militant and terrorist outfits that we have all been talking about. And I didn't start with condemning and condoling with the victims, condemning the perpetrators and condoling with the victims of the Islamabad attack right now, because we do this every day. Having said that, we can't be desensitized to terror or conflict, and this is a very difficult time. So we hope that, and we hope and pray and must act also to save lives, to take the kinetic action where it's needed. Kinetic action always is difficult. No state likes to take kinetic action, but from 2008, we faced that challenge head on. And actually, because I wasn't going to talk about terrorism, but it's come up today, Pakistan has faced down one of the largest counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency, not insurgency, but terrorism waves or surges known to the globe without taking much credit to it. This goes on from 2008 to around 2017, where it had quieted down. But there was a point where if you turn off the TV and come back to it in an hour, you would be condemning and condoling. A shrine would be attacked, a school would be attacked, innocent civilians everywhere. And it started all with girls' schools in KP. If you all remember, it started with girls' schools. And women's bodies remain, their education, everything, our education remains a site for extremist manipulation and extreme anxiety. What are women thinking? What are women wearing? What are they reading? Where are they going? Much anxiety is spent on that, and it continues to be like that in many parts of the world. So here we have a geopolitics, which is, I remember from school, or rather college, my political philosophy teacher going on and on about Hobbes. And the thing that that sticks in my mind is we had walked away from a Hobbesian world, that great Leviathan. It's the central core of political philosophy as you read about it. And today, here we are, geopolitics and conflict have reared their head in ways that have made the global arena full of experienced by human life as nasty, brutish, and short. And then at the same time, we have a climate polycrisis in the world, which some people deny, which is also red and tooth and claw. That is how nature is. If it is not nurtured, it can go out of control, and that is one force that human beings, with all the militaries in the world spending $6.6 trillion going on that trajectory globally, that's what military spending will be globally, soon, going towards that, nobody will be able to fight it. When a flood or a mega flood surges either Texas or Jamshoro or Thatta or Chichavatni or Kasur, it floods. There is very little you can do about it in the immediate moment. So please, oh, Assalamu alaikum Khokar Sahab, you're here, I didn't see you, long time. Anyhow, so there's very little you can do about it. And that's something we need to compute, and I will address that because Pakistan is definitely on the front line of climate and environmental stress. But it's not all out of our control. And I did ask for, unlike the last time, for plastic bottles to be replaced here on the stage by glass before I came. But I still saw, my eyes spied a big basket of them going around, a crate going around. So, Avari, please get rid of them. I've embarrassed most of the hotels out of doing this in Islamabad. I'm going to keep doing that here. It's just toxic. Each bottle is non-biodegradable. They tell you it is. No, it's not being recycled. Please, go, where are the collection centers? It's not being recycled. And each plastic, and this is adding to global disorder. We are all watching catastrophe, poor health choices, collapse, come to our homes, to our doorstep, noting it while being unable to do something about it. Here we can do something about it. These are forever chemicals. They take 1,000 years to dissolve in your landfills or your oceans or your rivers. 1,000 years, if that. And by then they land up on your plate as fish or meat or vegetables, which is why you see so many health crises, so much cancer climbing, particularly breast cancer. For women, this is a clear red alert. So even plastic bottle holding water that is warming in the sun, it's a disaster. The industry has managed to keep it quiet, and I've reckoned that they will do that too. But coming back to geopolitics, because climate and life, real life, has to be experienced at the bottom of the pyramid. And here in Pakistan, we have over 42% living in poverty. That's going to be very difficult in a country fighting terrorism. It's very difficult in a country fighting terrorism because people get displaced. They become alienated from the state, from politics, from democracy, which is in recession all over the world. Okay, democracy is in recession all over the world. Let's face that. So we have a situation where the LitFest allows me, this town hall, to speak to people I rarely see, and it's such a privilege to share with you the thought that honestly we are living in a deeply transitional time, and that's sugarcoating it, because here we have more active conflicts in the world than the Second World War. More active conflicts in the world than the Second World War, which destroyed large parts of Europe. They rebuilt it to their credit, but I'm not sure rebuilding is always what we need to do. We're going to be very busy rebuilding from the climate polycrisis that overcomes us, and we face it down every summer in the shape of floods, but the conversation does not go to the periphery where there is usually desertification, such as Balochistan, or Gilgit-Baltistan, which is home to Pakistan's largest number of glaciers outside the polar region, and it is facing shock after climate shock right up to spring, when the glacial melt is bringing large swathes of icy, very angry water that is melts suddenly down to communities that cannot face it. It brings boulders with it. It takes down entire bridges and power plants like toothpicks. You don't get to see it on the media. I take an interest, so I know. But so this is what's happening on the periphery, and it's happening all over the world, yet South Asia and Asia are at the core of this crisis. So in this context, when you have a geopolitical framework that is invested more and more in war, because it is, that's where the military spending trajectory is going, make no mistake. If anyone tells you that's not happening, just go Google this. The military spending all over the world is going way up, $6.6 trillion, as I told you, into the next decade, or probably more. And then since they've been talking about AI, which I'm extremely wary of, it writes really badly, okay, so far. And AI is also disrupting military technologies. You now have drones that can overcome and completely disrupt and add chaos to what is known as a conventional battlefield or even airspaces. So that's happening in real time. And we saw a recent war in May 2025. We call it a limited war. Pakistan did amazingly well. We were using, spectacularly well rather, we were also using artificial intelligence to triangulate our responses. And President Trump leaves no stone unturned when he reminds the world of how many jets we downed, but, or what truce he negotiated. But having said that, I mean, we can't be celebrating war or conflict. It is the opposite of what brings development and any sense of growth to communities that are on the edges. And as I said, all of South Asia, not just Pakistan, faces the climate, water, agriculture, polycrisis, all of us. And the bottom of the social pyramid is disproportionately impacted. But I keep telling even speeches in cold climates that you too, it will come to your door, it keeps coming to your door, and there will be no arc of elite privilege to walk away from it. You know, there are no ships going to fly out like they are in those movies that you see. So this is our planet, this is our Earth, and we have added conflict to the mix instead of coming together, say, at the Conference of Parties. Until last year, the Conference of Parties, ladies and gentlemen, used to be the biggest multilateral event. It was taking over in terms of heads of state and heads of government and the international capital even showing up, as well as activists. It had overtaken, in my view, the UNGA, totally. And now, last year, many of us didn't go. I think the climate minister should have gone, but many of us didn't go because, I mean, it was so expensive to make it to the Amazon, and that's not what these COPs should be about. It was excluding, and I would have gone on state expense, but we all looked at the bills and we said, this is not worth it. If I'm not in the negotiating room and I've already created the loss and damage fund, which we have incidentally lost a place on in the last 3 years, we then should let the people who are in the front line and manage the business of the state go. Anyhow, the point here is our immediate neighborhood is volatile. Afghanistan, you all know the situation. It is, in many parts of it, are extremely volatile, and our borders, even for trade, are closed. And that's never really happened this long, that our borders with Afghanistan are closed. It's not something we seek. First, our borders with India are closed for trade. It is, unfortunately, none of this is here. I will support Pakistan's government, all of the governments in this particular point. that with India, Pakistan has always said we are perfectly willing to talk. Let's talk. Because even after very big wars, where millions of people die, you have peace talks. But no, Mr. Modi wants to keep the area in what he calls the new normal. I call it the new abnormal, where you weaponize water, where you weaponize or even cricket, which for Pakistan, India, Australia, all the Commonwealth countries is like it's like a rush. Everybody's like in a sugar rush watching cricket. But that's also been weaponized, so Pakistan has to respond. States don't roll over and say slap the other cheek. They do respond. And so Pakistan's been responding, and spectacularly well, I have to say. And as for Afghanistan, both countries, we have always wanted to trade, keep good relations, and I think we've paid a huge price. We paid a huge price. Our encounter with Afghanistan has never been easy, but we have always understood them to be brothers and sisters because of the Pakhtun, obviously the long Pakhtun borderlands. But today that is for the first time in my living experience become very questionable. And that's at least lived experience is 65, but I've been probably thinking about it for the last 40 years. And here we just see a sea change. And once you understand that this is where we are, this is what we are navigating, volatility, unpredictability, and a series of possible attacks on our terrain, which we fend off and fight off, it's very hard to then keep up the trade borders, the peace, all of that. Maintaining a peace is very hard. Iran is on the other side. Now, supply chains, oil, even gunboat diplomacy have now become the new order of the world, okay? So the energy supply chains are dictating decisions from one hemisphere to another. And I said, Tammy said, thank you for your attention to the matter, Tammy. That's an inside joke for some people, I guess, but it's in the public domain. And we have a situation where Pakistan has to navigate a very perilous balance. There are great powers now that we are hedging and balancing between. China is our anchor ally. It has always been, and I'm assuming and hoping that it will continue to be so, and I'm sure it will. But we have had off and on relationship which is vital with the United States. That has always, when I was ambassador, I said, well, you're the great frenemy, which is you're a friend one day and an enemy the other. And that goes on. But you do have to engage with great powers. You do not make foreign policy based on, I wake up this morning and I felt like yelling at this person. No. That's when you do that when you're an individual, when you have that luxury. When you make foreign policy, you have to bite the bullet. And as the Canadian Prime Minister said very clearly, and all women know this, all women who engage in public life know this, if you're not on the table, you're on the menu. So it's smart to be on the table. It's not the best choice always. One has to swallow sometimes a bit of reflux, to put it mildly, but it is the optimal choice. You have to make that choice for your country and navigate it as the best you can with other countries that are with you. And I'm speaking about the peace board, of course. So, and other tables that you need to be at. So how does Pakistan navigate these kind of external shocks? Ranging from conflict, from tariff wars, because tariffs are also being weaponized all over the world. And so you have tariff wars and climate shocks, and now you have conflict in a very tense region. I don't call it the Middle East, I'm afraid, because my mind is a little bit decolonized. I call it the West Asia, like the United Nations, thank you, does it. So West Asia is also very volatile. It will continue to be, as we all see. It's like someone said, it's a serial that we're watching. One day it's on the brink, the next day it's on the brink, you come back from the brink. It's testing an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation, and we all in Pakistan hope and plan and negotiate for peace, because there is absolutely no gain to be made from war for anyone. And I think everybody recognizes that, but even it's a very obvious thing to say. I'm impressed that I have to even say it, but I'm impressed that you recognize it. But even the Iranian president, not president, but Khamenei, the great ruler, has said, Ayatollah, that once it's a war, it's not going to be contained. So containing wars and going back to normalization is something Pakistan did very well in that 4-day or 5-day limited encounter in May. We were able to contain it. But having said that, how are we going to navigate the near future? And I'm going to take 10 minutes and then step off OUP. But I think we have to understand that the future is something we have control over within our country. So for that, we need a public conversation on a few things. I've obviously talked to you about climate. I've talked to you last time on water and the terrible scarcity we could face. Look at Tehran, look at Cape Town. They are facing shortages and announcing cutbacks and rationing. So before we do that, let's not go crazy with the car washes and the long showers. Each bit matters. You can't say, but agriculture is consuming so much, so I in the urban, my little island will not consume, will not reduce my consumption. No, Pakistanis, our per capita consumption is extremely high. It is the 4th highest in the world. So we are wasting water, and we need to stop doing that. So I've talked about climate, I've talked about water, and when we talk about water, we always have to talk about women, because 75% of the water in this country is carried by women. You guys don't know that. You have piped water in your taps. And 75% of women are carrying the water from field to house or from urban pump to the flat or area they're living. That's happening all over the developed world. And so here we are running an economy where women are 22% of the labor force, 22 only, whereas they are actually running an unpublished, unrecognized care economy all over the world, especially South Asia. So we need to give that attention. I've been mindful of the fact that we've had, we have an IMF program. It's the 24th. So we need to address our economic fundamentals, and we do that all the time. And Pakistan's economy has finally entered a macroeconomic stabilization phase. It's just stabilized. It doesn't mean that the lived experience of people buying vegetables or meat on the ground has changed too substantially. I mean, Ramzan will be a great test of that for people. And also, we need to understand that jobs matter. We are in our stabilization program shutting down the state-owned enterprises. State-owned enterprises are a favorite in every business panel. You'll see them ranting about how they are bleeding and hemorrhaging. They're being subsidized by government. Some of them are profitable, but they're certainly hemorrhaging losses. And those that are hemorrhaging losses are slowly being privatized. Okay, and that's the PIA, and then you've had other corporations being closed down. In many of these corporations, people are laid off. They do get a handshake, but that handshake doesn't survive them very long. So the rate of unemployment in Pakistan has gone over 7%. In other countries, this would be a headline every single day. In the election campaign, in anything. So this is joblessness at a high level. You have 3 million people entering the job market, young people, because we're talking about the youth bulge entering the job market every day, every year rather. And I said this 2 days before the World Bank president came and said it in the finance committee. The finance minister was like, ma'am, what's this? I said, it's the economy. It is exactly the conversation. And it's because your tax collection is going so north and is taxing the same people again and again that we are losing our trained, skilled youth to other countries, right? and our big manufacturers to climates where you have a 1% taxation. That's low. We need to tax our elites. I'm all for taxing the rent seekers, which includes me, I'm sure. But what does that tell us? That we don't have that conversation. And who is going to accommodate these young people who are educated every year and coming into the job market? If the private sector is not getting a stimulus package, or if manufacturing is paying 61% of taxation cumulatively with super tax, then who's going to be doing the hiring? You're shutting down the public sector. It was gaseous, it was unwieldy, it was large. So who's going to do the hiring? Who's giving the jobs? Everybody can't be an entrepreneur overnight. So this is something that needs to be a public conversation now. And there needs to be some clear incentivization of the agriculture and manufacturing sector that will employ further. I mean, the services sector is your biggest employer right now. They need a skill base we no longer really have. Where do we go from there? We go into just for perspective, look at the debt crisis. Now, no one wants to talk about it. We have a debt crisis that is, for instance, what are we paying for development every year? Pakistan's got to navigate strength, so it's got to pay for development. It's paying 4 trillion rupees cumulatively between the federal government and the provincial, all the provinces. 4 trillion out of a 17 billion budget. Just do the math. It's shrinking more and more every year, the development budget, which means you don't have money to pay for the 26 million children out of school. So please link up our conversations. We keep talking about we talk in silos. 26 million children out of school, the salaried class, young people getting into the job market, 3 million of many leaving if they have the opportunity to better job opportunities elsewhere. So we have ourselves a new problem that we need to, not so new, that we need to address. The development sector, the development budget cannot pay possibly for educating 26 million children. I'm telling you that. No matter how many teachers you train, and thank you for doing that, OUP, but teacher training is also needed at scale. So you need that at scale. You need to develop your man and woman power, and you also need to be able to provide the nutrition base in the schools. They need to have hot meals, the girls and boys coming to these schools. Yeah, these are not glamorous issues. I could be talking to you about missiles, but this is very important for us. To navigate the new world order, disorder, this is what we need. Our women in the job market, our women in the front line, our children not stunted. 40% of Pakistani children are stunted under the age of 5. We need our young people to shine as human capital so they can grow as knowledge-based workers in a AI world. And we need our water and climate resources husbanded and conserved and treated like a not infinite resource. These are finite resources. Nature will not give back again and again and again until you give back. So everybody has a give back plan. Everybody can make one. I keep saying this and I'm going to keep saying this again. Externally, Pakistan, I know my finance minister won't like to hear this, but if you have an 80 trillion rupee public debt, please compare that with your budget. It's 17 trillion. Your public debt is 88.0. Your debt servicing is double your development spending. It is 8.2 trillion. Your development spending is only 4 trillion. We are being squeezed out. That's the crisis. It's not always money, but if you're talking about money, then we need an international debt reset. And why I say that, we have 2 internationals sitting here. I need to tell them, and I put it in some of our frontline speeches also at the international level, but France hosted a conference on this a few years ago. We were there. The Bretton Woods institutions are not working. What happened after the Second World War, the United Nations, it's struggling, but it is not able to meet any of its SDGs. The most common SDG that is sliding all over the world is domestic violence, including in Britain. And we have a situation where a complex array of factors has made the UN lose its power and agency, and even some of its financing, as you know, after the United States has pulled out. So we have a crisis in the international financial architecture too. Countries that were supposed to be assisted in their development projects, especially post-colonial countries, are not able to get that. They're not able to get the climate financing or the debt reset they need without creditor countries and your markets crashing that, oh, we're seeking a debt forgiveness. But surely the Bretton Woods institutions need to look at that. Who is it delivering for? If you take a climate loan today, and you'll find that 80% of Pakistan's climate funding, so-called climate funding, is all loans. The World Bank, all loans now. Everybody loans, 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 adding to the onerous debt burden. So I'm here to tell you, externally you've got to keep saying this, and you've got to make a real case. Let's not be confused about the two things. One does not exclude the other. I will still ask for climate finance. I will still ask the Bretton Woods institutions to do their jobs. But in Pakistan, what are you doing? Please don't wait for anyone to come and get you. If your house is burning, you don't wait for anyone to come and get you. No one is coming. That's my view. I could be wrong, but look around you. Look at the geopolitical system. The money is all going into wars. There's no money for climate financing. It's going into wars. And further, it's going into fossil fuels. It's going into dirty energy. $7 trillion. $7 trillion every single year. Please Google it and check. You will not hear this anywhere else. $7 trillion of subsidy go to oil and gas internationally every year. I was gobsmacked. I couldn't believe it. I kept checking. But guess where I got this from? The IMF. Check their website. So there's money, but it's not coming to you. So it's time, therefore, which is why I introduced other subjects, such as how to deal with development and break the fragmented governance crisis. And there is a governance crisis. Deal with that. We have to deal with that. We have the resources, and we must take those actions. I know the LitFest is not probably a place to do that, but it is where people can find agency. It is where voices gain power, and where literature meets, where fiction meets non-fiction, right? To build a story or a narrative of yourselves as a post-colonial people who can run your own lives. I know it's great fun to say, I don't need aid. It's not even coming. So it's probably better to start fending for ourselves and looking for local solutions. I say this, you are all empowered elites. Please go back and think about this. And I would even ask OUP and the sponsors here to arrange a roundtable at some point where we can have these conversations as policy submissions to the government. Would you like to do that? I certainly would be happy to facilitate. Thank you very much, everyone. I know I took a long time and lots of oxygen in this room, so thank you for your patience.
Thank you very much, Senator Sherry Rahman. You covered so many different and important topics today, and you're absolutely right on the money and the taxes and disincentivizing of the private sector and the fat public sector and all these things. And it's not just young people looking for opportunities, because everyone seems to be leaving the country. So you have the youth leaving, looking for jobs. And you have people with lots of money leaving because they just don't want to pay any more taxes or be harassed, etc. But perhaps we can have that round table and do something much more important and try and get this place back, because as you said, if the house is burning, no one's coming to get you. You have to get yourself out as quickly as possible. I would now like to invite our second keynote speaker, Mr. Nasir Abbas Nair, a writer, a critic, a columnist, and a very beautiful speaker.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। जनाब अरशद सईद हुसैन साहब, मोहतरमा सेनेटर शहरी रहमान साहबा, मिस्टर लांस डॉम साहब, मिस्टर एलेक्स और आयशा हक, इफ्तिखार आरिफ साहब, आपा किश्वर, ख़वातीन व हज़रात, मैं तवील गुफ्तगू है मैं मुख्तसर करता हूँ और पहले वक्त ज़्यादा हो गया है। मेरे इस आज की गुफ्तगू का उन्वान है अदब और यादाश्त। मैं बराह रास्त शुरू करता हूँ। हमारे जिस्म मालिक्यूल्स का पेचीदा मजमुआ हैं, मगर हम बतौर शख्स और बतौर कौम यादों से बने हैं। हम दूसरों से इसलिए जुदा हैं कि हमारी यादें जुदा हैं। हम दूसरों की मानद भी इसलिए हैं कि हमारी यादें मुश्तरक हैं। यादें हमारी शख्सी इनफरादियत और इज्तमाई शनाख्त की मेमार और निगाहबान हैं। यादें ख़ज़ा में उड़ते पत्तों की मानद हुआ करती हैं, मुंतशिर, बेतरतीब, महज एक अंबार। हम उन्हें बाहम जोड़ते हैं, उन्हें एक तरतीब में लाते हैं, यानी एक कहानी बनाते हैं। हमारी अपनी यादों से बनी कहानी ही हमारी शनाख्त है। हमारी ज़ाती शनाख्त हो, कौमी या फिर आलमी शनाख्त, वो कहानी पर अटकी हुई है। इस कहानी के वाक़यात में रद्द बदल कर दें या वाक़यात की तरतीब बदल दें, आपकी शनाख्त बदल जाएगी। जिन्हें हमारी शनाख्त से इख्तलाफ या ख़तरा होता है, वो हमारी यादों और कहानियों में खलल डालते हैं। हमारी कहानियों में हमें खामोश कर दिया करते हैं या हमें हमारी ही कहानियों से निकाल दिया करते हैं, और कभी कभार हमें अपनी ही कहानियों में, हमारी कहानियों में कत्ल कर दिया करते हैं। उसके बाद वो हमारी कहानियाँ लिखते हैं। हम अपनी कहानियों से गायब और जलावतन हो जाया करते हैं। फिर हम अपनी शनाख्त के साथ नहीं जीते, दूसरों की मुसल्लत की गई शनाख्त बसर करते हैं। एक शख्स दूसरे की ज़िंदगी बसर नहीं कर सकता, वो दूसरे की बसर की हुई ज़िंदगी का मुर्दा बोझ उठा सकता है। लेकिन यादें और उन पर मबनी कहानियाँ हमें शनाख्त के सिवा भी बहुत कुछ देती हैं। ये यादें ही हैं जो हमें खुशी, रंज, उदासी, नॉस्टैल्जिया, वापसी की आरज़ू और कभी कभी निदामत और अपने आप से जंग में भी मुब्तला कर दिया करती हैं। यादें आदमी को बाकायदा लहूलुहान कर सकती हैं। यादें हमारे लिए एक गोशा निशात भी हुआ करती हैं और एक खित्ता हुज़्न भी। यादें हमें पर भी अता करती हैं और हमारे पाँव की जंजीर भी बन जाया करती हैं। ख़ुद अदब और याददाश्त के ताल्लुक़ की भी एक कहानी है। इस कहानी का पहला वाक़या तहरीर की ईजाद और मिट्टी की लौहों या पापायरस पर अदब के लिखे जाने से पहले का वाक़या है। दुनिया का तमाम कदीम अदब ज़ुबानी अदब है और उसकी हैत शायरी की है। शायरी जर्मन फ़लसफ़ी जॉर्ज हमन के बकौल नस्ल इंसानी की मादरी ज़ुबान है। शायरी ने इंसानी वजूद और कायनात में जारी मौसीकी को अल्फाज में मुंतकिल किया है। इस मौसीकी का गहरा ताल्लुक़ इंसानी याददाश्त से है। ख़याल अपनी असली सूरत हमारी याददाश्त में बरकरार नहीं रख सकता, मगर जो ख़याल शेर में ढल जाता है वो इंसानी यादों में अबदियत हासिल कर लिया करता है। शायरी आम इंसानी फरामोशी के ख़िलाफ़ इंसानियत की एक अजीम कामयाबी है। होमर की ओडिसी, इलियाड हों या चारों वेद या रामायण या पाणिनि की अष्ट अध्याय जो इल्मी किताब है, ग्रामर की दुनिया की पहली किताब, یا پارسیوں کی اوستا اور بے شمار کتابیں، یہ سب زبانی یاد رکھی جاتی تھیں، یعنی اوریچر تھیں. یہ لٹریچر بعد میں بنی یعنی لکھی گئیں. آج یہ دیکھ کر حیرت ہوتی ہے کہ اتنی طویل کہانیاں اور ہزاروں اشعار زبانی یاد رکھے جاتے تھے، لیکن اس کی وجہ سمجھنا مشکل نہیں. یہ کہانیاں، طویل کہانیاں، حافظے پر بوجھ نہیں ہوا کرتی تھیں. یہ کہانیاں لوگوں کی اجتماعی یادداشت کی پیداوار تھیں. اس لیے کہتے ہیں کہ ہومر بھی ایک نہیں تھا، ہومر کئی تھے، اور ہومر کا لفظی مطلب ایک کہنا بھی ہے، یعنی کہنے والے، کہانیاں کہنے والے. اس لیے زندگی کے بوجھ کو اٹھانے، اس بوجھ کی معنویت اور لایانیت دونوں کو سمجھنے اور دونوں سے نبرد آزما ہونے میں یہ کہانیاں مدد کیا کرتی تھیں. یہ کہانیاں وراثت تھیں، مگر زندہ رواں دواں وراثت. کیا چیز یاد رکھی جائے گی اور کسے فراموش کرنا ہے، اس کا فیصلہ زندگی کے اہم ترین فیصلوں میں ہوا کرتا ہے. یہ ایک طرح سے اپنی شخصی اور قومی تقدیر طے کرنے کا فیصلہ ہوا کرتا ہے. قدیم زمانوں میں یہ فیصلہ انبیاء، حکماء، فلاسفہ، مذہبی پیشوا، پروہت، قبیلے کے سردار، شاعر اور داستان گو کیا کرتے تھے. ہمارے زمانے میں یہ کام ادیب، دانشور، میڈیا، تعلیمی اور ریاستی ڈسکورسز کرتے ہیں. یہ سب پرانے قصوں کی ایک طرح سے تدوین نو کیا کرتے تھے، لیکن ان قصوں میں صرف قبیلے یا قوم کی شناخت ہی نہیں، ایک مکمل تصور دنیا، ایک مکمل نظام اخلاق، نظام اقدار و جمالیات بھی منتقل ہوتا. گویا حافظے میں کوئی عدم تسلسل یا شگاف پیدا نہیں ہوا کرتا تھا، لیکن تحریر کی ایجاد سے حافظے میں یہ شگاف پڑنا شروع ہوا. لیکن یہ الگ بات ہے کہ تحریر نے اس شگاف کو پر کرنے کا ذمہ بھی لیا ہے. تحریر نے اپنے لگائے گئے زخم پر مرہم رکھنے کی کوشش کی ہے. پہلے یہ احساس عام تھا کہ حافظہ علم غلم چیزوں کا ایک ترین سیلن زدہ گودام نہیں، بلکہ حال کی زندگی میں تخلیقی طور پر دخیل اور مؤثر حقیقت ہے. افلاطون کے مقال میں فیدرس میں درج ہے کہ اسے اس کے استاد سقراط نے خبردار کیا تھا کہ لوگ اپنی یادداشت کا استعمال ترک کر دیں گے، کیونکہ وہ لکھے ہوئے لفظ پر انحصار کریں گے، یعنی چیزوں کو یاد کرنے کے لیے اپنے اندر کو بھول جائیں گے اور صرف باہر دیکھیں گے. سقراط کا کہا سچ ہو رہا ہے. آج ہم زیادہ باہر دیکھتے ہیں اور اندر کو ہم نے فراموش کر دیا ہے. آج ہمارا اور خاص طور پر جین زی کا حافظہ ہمارے اندر نہیں، ہماری جیب یعنی سیل فون میں ہے. سیل فون ہماری یادوں ہی کا نہیں، ہمارے علم اور ہمارے ہما قسم کے خزانے کا لاکر بن گیا ہے. ہم باقی سب بھولتے جا رہے ہیں، بس اس لاکر اور اس کی کوڈ کی حفاظت کرنا یاد رکھتے ہیں. لیکن ایک گہرے خوف کا شکار بھی ہیں، یہ کہ اگر ہمارا سیل فون کھو گیا تو گویا ہمارا حافظہ کھو جائے گا. اور اس کا کھونا ایک باقاعدہ صدمہ ہے جو لوگ محسوس کرتے ہیں. یہاں ہمیں مارکیز کے ناول تنہائی کے 100 سال کا وہ حصہ یاد آتا ہے جہاں ماکوندو گاؤں کے لوگ بے خوابی کی وبا کا شکار ہوتے ہیں تو چیزوں کے نام اور ان کا مصرف بھولنے لگتے ہیں. وہ چیزوں پر پرچیاں چپکاتے ہیں، گائے پر پرچی چپکاتے ہیں کہ یہ گائے ہے، اس کا دودھ نکال کر پینا ہے. سوچئے اگر گائے پر چپکی ہوئی پرچی گم ہو جائے یا خود گائے گم ہو جائے تو کیا ہو؟ تحریری یادداشت کے گم ہونے کا خوف زبانی یادداشت کے گم ہونے سے کہیں بڑا ہوا کرتا ہے. خیر، جس بات کا ذکر افلاطون نے کیا ہے اسی سے ملتی جلتی بات مولانا روم اور شمس کی پہلی ملاقات کی ایک روایت میں درج ہے. اس ملاقات کی کئی روایتیں ہیں. ایک روایت یہ ہے کہ مولانا ایک حوض کے کنارے بیٹھے تھے، سامنے کچھ کتابیں رکھی تھیں. شمس نے پوچھا یہ کیا ہے؟ مولانا نے کہا یہ کیلو کال ہے، تمہیں اس سے کیا غرض؟ شمس نے وہ سب کتابیں حوض میں پھینک دیں. مولانا رنجیدہ ہوئے اور شمس سے شکوہ کیا کہ تم نے ایسی کتابیں ضائع کر دیں جن کا کوئی نعم البدل نہیں. شمس نے حوض میں ہاتھ ڈالا اور سب کتابیں نکال کر کنارے پر دھر دیں. اب مولانا پر حیرت طاری ہوئی. شمس نے کہا یہ عالم حال کی باتیں ہیں، تم کیا جانو؟ اس روایت کے بنیادی نقطے دو ہیں. ایک یہ کہ کیلو کال کا تعلق کاغذ پر لکھے لفظ سے ہے، جبکہ حال کا تعلق دل پر رقم عبارت سے ہے، یعنی زندہ حافظے سے۔ گویا علم وہی ہے جو حال کا زندہ حافظے کا حصہ بنے، جو ہر لمحہ ذہن میں حاضر ہی نہ ہو، تمام انسانی معاملات میں مؤثر بھی رہے۔ دوسرا نقطہ یہ ہے کہ شمس نے جس حوض سے کتابیں برآمد کیں وہ اس کے اپنے حافظے کا حوض تھا۔ مولانا روم کے مطابق صندوق ہر با ہنر سینائی اوست، یعنی ہر صاحب کمال کا خزانہ اس کا سینہ یعنی حافظہ ہی ہے۔ وہ حافظہ نہیں جو صرف معلومات کو محفوظ رکھتا ہے اور جسے اصطلاح میں ڈیکلیریٹو کہا جاتا ہے، بلکہ وہ حافظہ جو معنی اور اقدار کو زندہ حالت میں برقرار رکھتا ہے۔ اوریچر سے لٹریچر یعنی زبانی ادب سے تحریری ادب کی طرف سفر انسانی تہذیب کا بڑا واقعہ ہے۔ اسی واقعے کے نتیجے میں دنیا میں عالمی ادب کا تصور پیدا ہوا، بلا شبہ وہ ایک عظیم الشان ہے، لیکن اس عالمی ادب کے عظیم الشان ذخیرے سے وہ سارا حافظہ ایک طرح کا بیرونی حافظہ ہے، یعنی ایکزو کارٹکس ایک اصطلاح میں۔ اس سے گہرا دلی رشتہ قائم کرنا پڑتا ہے۔ بیرونی حافظے کو اندرونی اور باطنی حافظہ بنانے کی آزمائش درپیش ہوتی ہے۔ ہمارے یہاں باطنی حافظے کا ذکر بہت کم ہوتا ہے۔ یہ اس کا ایک روشن پہلو بھی ہے اور ایک تاریک بھی۔ ادب اور حافظے کے قصے میں سب سے اہم موڑ جدید عہد میں آیا۔ جدید دنیا میں جن چیزوں کا استحصال ہوا اور جن کے حصے میں بدنامی اور ملامت بھی آئی، ان میں حافظہ بھی ہے۔ حافظے کی مختلف قسموں میں فرق کرنے اور ان کے کردار کو الگ الگ سمجھنے کی بجائے اسے برا بھلا کہا گیا۔ ایک طرف اسے رٹا کہا گیا، دوسری طرف اسے تنقیدی اور تخلیقی صلاحیت کا دشمن سمجھا گیا۔ رٹا سیکھنے کا میکانیکی عمل ہے، یعنی ہماری ڈیکلیریٹو میموری۔ یہ حافظے کا معمولی حصہ ہے اور اسے اتنی ہی اہمیت ملنی چاہیے۔ حافظے کا بڑا حصہ ان تجربات کو محفوظ کرتا ہے جنہیں ہمارا تخیل بروئے کار لاتا ہے، جس پر ہم اپنی ذہانت اور تنقیدی صلاحیت کا استعمال کرتے ہیں۔ محدود حافظہ تخیل کو بھی محدود کیا کرتا ہے۔ سچ یہ ہے کہ جدید عہد میں حافظہ شناختوں کے انہدام، تشکیل، رد تشکیل اور ایک نئی تشکیل کے مسلسل عمل کی آماجگاہ بنا ہے۔ اس عمل کا منظم آغاز استعماریت نے کیا۔ استعماریت نے جس طرح بحر و بر میں چھپے خزانے تلاش کیے، اسی طرح انسانی حافظے کو بھی ایک بڑے خزانے کے طور پر دریافت کیا۔ اس لیے انہوں نے ایشیا، افریقہ، لاطینی امریکہ کی اساطیر، حکایات، زبانی قصے جمع کیے، ان کی زبانوں کے قواعد مرتب کیے، رسم الخط کی معیار بندی کی، ان سے اپنی زبانوں میں کتب لکھوائیں اور خود ان کی تاریخیں لکھیں۔ یہ سارا عمل مقامی باشندوں کے ثقافتی حافظے، جس کو سیمانٹک میموری کہتے ہیں، اس تک رسائی کی کوشش تھی۔ انہوں نے یہ بھی دریافت کیا کہ جب عام انسانی حافظے یا کسی قوم کے ثقافتی حافظے تک رسائی حاصل ہو جایا کرتی ہے تو اسے چھیننا، منہدم کرنا اور نئے سرے سے ترتیب دینا بھی ممکن ہو جایا کرتا ہے، اور سب سے بڑھ کر خود مقامی لوگوں کی نظر میں خود ان کی پوری ثقافتی میراث کو رسوا کرنا بھی آسان ہو جایا کرتا ہے۔ یہی نہیں، حافظے کی کولونائزیشن سے مقامی لوگوں کی روحوں کی تعمیر نو بھی کی جا سکتی ہے۔ اس کے لیے ان کی اساطیر، کہانیوں اور تاریخ کو ان کے نصابات سے نکال کر انہیں سفید دنیا کی کہانیاں سننے اور پڑھنے کو دی گئیں۔ 19ویں صدی کے آخر میں اکبر نے کہا تھا، جو بہت پڑھا جاتا ہے شعر، کہ چھوڑ لٹریچر کو، اپنی ہسٹری کو بھول جا، شیخ و مسجد سے تعلق ترک کر اسکول جا، 4 دن کی زندگی ہے کوفت سے فائدہ، کھا ڈبل روٹی کلرکی کر خوشی سے پھول جا۔ حافظے کی کولونائزیشن کے خلاف جد و جہد بھی حافظے کے میدان میں ہوا کرتی ہے۔ حقیقی آزادی حافظے کی آزادی ہوا کرتی ہے۔ چنانچہ اقبال کے لفظوں میں، ایک استعمار زدہ باشندے کی ساری سرگزشت کھوئے ہوئوں کی جستجو بن جایا کرتی ہے۔ افریقی ناول نویس چنوا اچیبے کے مطابق کہانیوں کے ذریعے حساب چکایا جاتا ہے، یعنی بیلنس آف سٹوریز۔ اپنی رسوا کی گئی کہانیوں اور اپنی گمشدہ ثقافتی علامتوں کی بازیافت کی جاتی ہے۔ اپنا گمشدہ حافظہ بحال کیا جاتا ہے۔ اس حافظے کو لگے ہوئے زخموں پر مرہم رکھا جاتا ہے، اپنی تہذیبی روح کی تعمیر نو کی جاتی ہے، لیکن یہ سب آسان نہیں ہوا کرتا۔ مصحف ہی یاد آتا ہے، مصحف ہی، ہم تو یہ سمجھے تھے کہ ہوگا کوئی زخم، تیرے دل میں تو بہت کام رفو کا نکلا۔ حافظے کی آزادی سیاسی آزادی سے کہیں زیادہ مشکل ہوا کرتی ہے۔ حافظہ کوئی سلیٹ نہیں ہے کہ جب چاہا ایک عبارت مٹا کر دوسری لکھ لی۔ کسی پرانی منہدم عمارت کو اس کی اصل شکل میں بحال کرنا ممکن ہوا کرتا ہے، مگر منہدم حافظے کو اس کی اصلی شکل میں بحال کرنا محال ہوا کرتا ہے۔ جہاں منہدم حافظے کی بحالی یا تاریخ کے پرانے عہد کو اس کی بنیادی اور اصلی صورت میں سامنے لانے کی کوشش کی جاتی ہے، وہاں شناخت کا جامع تصور اور اس کے نتیجے میں قدامت پسندی اور شدت پسندی پیدا ہونے کا خطرہ بھی ہوا کرتا ہے، اس لیے بہت نازک کام ہوتا ہے۔ منہدم حافظے کی تعمیر نو کوئی آسان نہیں ہوا کرتی۔ اکثر ماضی کی ثقافتی علامتوں سے کچھ یادیں منتخب کر لی جاتی ہیں اور کچھ ترک کر دی جاتی ہیں، اور ان کی مدد سے اپنی قومی شناخت کی تعمیر کی جاتی ہے۔ دوسرے گروہ کچھ دوسری یادوں کا انتخاب کرتے ہیں، اور یہیں سے ایک ہی خطے میں ایک سے زیادہ قومی شناختیں وجود میں آتی اور اکثر ایک دوسرے کے مقابل آتی ہیں۔ یوں حافظے کی آزادی کی کوشش میں ثقافتی شناختوں میں کھینچا تانی شروع ہو جایا کرتی ہے۔ ادب حافظے کو استعماری تصورات سے واگزار کرانے کے لیے پرانی مقامی کہانیاں نئے انداز میں اپنے زمانے کی زبان میں لکھتا ہے۔ وہ ثقافتی روح میں پیدا ہونے والے کئی شگاف پور کرتا ہے، مگر ادب اس سے غافل نہیں ہوتا کہ استعمار کے ہاتھوں رسوا کی گئی اپنی عظیم کہانیوں سے انسپیریشن حاصل کی جا سکتی ہے، ان کی پرستش نہیں کی جا سکتی۔ ہجرت، جلا وطنی اور بے گھری نے یادوں پر مبنی ادب کا بڑا ذخیرہ پیدا کیا ہے۔ ہم جگہوں کو چھوڑ دیا کرتے ہیں، جگہیں ہمیں نہیں چھوڑتی۔ پہلے آدمی گھروں، مکانوں، بستیوں، شہروں میں رہتا ہے، پھر یہ سب جگہیں آدمی کے اندر رہتی ہیں۔ آدمی کے اندر جگہ بنانے والا کوئی مکان ویران ہوتا ہے نہ خاموش۔ کئی نشاط آمیز اداس گیت ان مکانوں میں گونجتے رہتے ہیں۔ اردو کے کتنے ہی ادیبوں نے اپنی یادوں ہی کو نہیں لکھا، اردو کو غیر معمولی ادب بھی دیا ہے۔ ایک انوکھی بستی دھیان میں ہے، اس بستی کے باسی مجھے بلاتے ہیں، ناصر کاظمی۔ تمام خانہ بدوشوں میں مشترک ہے یہ بات، سب اپنے اپنے گھروں کو پلٹ کے دیکھتے ہیں، افتخار عارف صاحب۔ انسانی یادیں اگر ایک بستی ہیں تو اس بستی میں ایک گھر جو ہمیشہ سلگتا رہتا ہے اور وہاں سے دھواں اٹھتا رہتا ہے، اس کا نام صدمہ ہے۔ باقی سب یادوں پر وقت اور فراموشی کی دھند چھا جایا کرتی ہے، صدمے کی یاد پر نہیں، اور اجتماعی صدمات بھی نہیں بھلائے جا سکتے۔ میاں محمد بخش کے بقول کس سنگ پھولاں دکھ سجن دے سول ہڈاں وچ وڑیا، تو صدمہ ہڈیوں میں گہرے زخم کی مانند ہوا کرتا ہے۔ ہر صدمے کا ذمہ دار کوئی نہ کوئی ہوا کرتا ہے۔ صدمہ خود چیختا ہے، مگر اس کے ذمہ دار صدموں پر سکوت مسلط کرتے ہیں۔ 1857، 1947، 1971 میں صدمات کے کتنے ہی حقیقی واقعات تھے جنہیں تاریخ میں خاموش رکھا گیا، مگر جنہیں ہمارے ادیبوں نے زبان عطا کی اور جنہیں اب ہماری عوامی تاریخ لکھنے کی کوشش کر رہی ہے۔ اسی صدمے سے فلسطینی گزر رہے ہیں، مگر وہ جانتے ہیں کہ آدمی خواہ خاموش ہو جائے، اس کے دکھ کی کہانی کو خاموش نہیں ہونا چاہیے۔ کہانی باقی ہے تو یاد کے نقشے پر آدمی باقی ہے، یعنی آدمی کی شناخت باقی ہے اور اپنے وطن کے لیے جد و جہد باقی ہے۔ رفعت العریر کی نظم اگر مجھے مرنا ہی ہے کہ 3 لائنوں پر اپنی گفتگو ختم کرتا ہوں۔ اگر مجھے مرنا ہی ہے تو تمہیں جینا ہوگا میری کہانی سنانے کے لیے۔ بہت شکریہ۔
بہت ہی خوبصورت ناصر عباس نیّر صاحب، تھینک یو سو مچ۔ اور مجھے جو سب سے اچھا لگا was the rafu, the dawning of the heart, because really I think that's what we do every day, living in this place. It's really, it really touched my heart actually. And as you said, silence is not an option. But thank you very much for that very beautiful speech. I know that Sherry has to leave, so say goodbye. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you. And we now have the KLF Gets Farmer Book Awards. And I'd request the representative from Gets Farmer to please come up here to make the awards. And I would also request Mr. Inam Nadeem to come up to announce the poetry nominees. Getz? Hello, Mr. Getz. So happy to see you. Come stand right there. Right? No, so you can you're going to give the award. Your Inam. Yeah, come.
معزز خواتین و حضرات، مجھے یہ مسرت حاصل ہو رہی ہے کہ میں 2026 کراچی لٹریچر فیسٹیول گیٹس فارما ایوارڈ برائے شاعری کے لیے جو کتابیں شارٹ لسٹ کی گئیں اور جس کتاب نے پہلا انعام حاصل کیا اس کا اعلان آپ کے سامنے کروں. خواتین و حضرات، اس ضمن میں ہمیں مجموعی طور پہ کچھ 30 کتابیں موصول ہوئی تھیں اور اس کی جیوری میں مشہور علمی ادبی شخصیت ڈاکٹر تنظیم الفردوس، ممتاز شاعرہ ناصرہ زبیری اور یہ خاکسار شامل تھے. تمام موصولہ کتابوں کا جائزہ چند واضح اور متفقہ ادبی معیارات کی بنیاد پر لیا گیا. ان معیارات میں زبان کی تازگی، شعری اظہار کی پختگی، فکری گہرائی، اسلوبی انفرادیت وغیرہ کو دیکھا گیا اور کسی ایک یا دو نمایاں نظموں یا غزلوں کے بجائے پورے مجموعے کی ادبی سطح اور داخلی ربط کو بنیادی اہمیت دی گئی. اس کے ساتھ یہ بھی دیکھا گیا کہ شاعر اپنے عہد، سماجی صورتحال اور ذاتی تجربے سے کس حد تک تخلیقی مکالمہ کرتا ہے. تو خواتین و حضرات، جو 3 کتابیں شاعری کی اس ضمن میں شارٹ لسٹ کی گئیں، میں ان تینوں کتابوں کے نام اور ان کے شاعروں کے نام آپ کے سامنے پیش کرتا ہوں. حمیدہ شاہین کی کتاب آر پار، سید کاشف رضا کی کتاب گل دوگانہ اور دلاور علی آذر کی کتاب آہنگ اس سلسلے میں شارٹ لسٹ کی گئی ان 30 کتابوں میں سے. اور مجھے یہ اعلان کرتے ہوئے نہایت مسرت ہو رہی ہے کہ 2026 کراچی لٹریچر فیسٹیول کا گیٹس فارما شاعری کے لیے ایوارڈ جو ہے دلاور علی آذر کی کتاب آہنگ کو دیا جاتا ہے. میں دلاور علی آذر سے درخواست کروں گا کہ تشریف لائے. دلاور صاحب کی یہ جو کتاب ہے آہنگ، یہ اس میں فکری تسلسل، اسلوبی یگانگت اور داخلی شعری شدت کے اعتبار سے یہ زیادہ جامع اور پختہ معلوم ہوئی. اور اس مجموعے میں شاعر نے ذاتی تجربے کو اجتماعی احساس سے جوڑتے ہوئے بہت خوبصورت اشعار کہے ہیں. اس کتاب کی ایک خوبی یہ بھی ہے کہ بہت عرصے کے بعد دیوان کی شعری روایت کو اس میں زندہ کیا گیا ہے اور یہ شاعری کا مجموعہ تحت حروف تہجی کے اعتبار سے دیوان کی صورت میں مرتب کیا گیا ہے.
So many photographs, so little time. Now we have the KLF Gets Farmer prose nominees, and I would request Mr. Asghar Nadeem Saeed to come up and announce the nominees and the winner.
خواتین و حضرات، شکریہ آکسفورڈ یونیورسٹی پریس گیٹس فارما. ہمارے پاس شعبہ تھا نثر کا، تخلیقی نثر، जिसमें कई असनाफ शामिल होती हैं, फिक्शन है, तनकीद है, तहकीक है। तो उस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से 3 किताबें हमने शॉर्टलिस्ट की। मेरे साथ हमीद शाहिद साहब और डॉक्टर नासिर अब्बास नैयर, ये मेरे साथ मुनसफीन में थे। तो हमारी तीनों की राय के मुताबिक पहले मैं 3 किताबें आपके सामने रखता हूँ। पहली किताब है रात, बग्घी और परिंदे। ये अफसानवी मजमुआ है, मुनीर अहमद फिरदौस, रात, बग्घी और परिंदे। दूसरी किताब है नमक की बेटियाँ, ये भी अफसानवी मजमुआ है और इसके राइटर है नसीर सुमरो। और तीसरी किताब तहकीक की किताब है उर्दू इमला मसाइल व मबाहिस की रिवायत, और इसके मुसन्निफ़ हैं अबरार खटक। तो ये 3 किताबें हमारे पास, कुल 45 किताबें हमें मौसूल हुई। तो उसमें हमने इनको, और उसमें जो इनाम नदीम ने एक बात की, मैं बस एक ही जुमला कहूँगा कि तख्लीकी तनव्वु हमारे पेश नज़र एक अहम नुक्ता था, जिसकी बुनियाद पर ये एक किताब हमने मुंतखब की, और ये किताब है नमक की बेटियाँ, नसीर सुमरो। इस किताब की अहम बात कि ये एक ऐसा तजर्बा है कि उन्होंने जो तख्लीकी जमालियात थी उसमें साइंस फिक्शन को किस तरह रास्ता दिखाया है, ये एक अहम पॉइंट था जिसकी बुनियाद पर यह किताब मुंतखब हुई। बहुत शुक्रिया।
So congratulations to both the winners. And now we have the English fiction nominees. There were 3 books that were shortlisted. Outside Women by Ruhi Chaudhry, Firdaus Nama by Shandana Minhas, and Where the Fireflies Dance by Aisha Hassan. And the winner of the KLF Getz Farmer Award for English Fiction is the Firdaus Nama by Shandana Minhas. Shandana is not here to receive her award, so I will take it, and I believe it's lots of money, so I might leave quickly. But she has sent a message which she's asked me to read, which says, "Thank you, respected jury members, KLF sponsors, and Getz Farmer, for this recognition of Firdaus Nama." Firdaus, it's written Firdaus. I'm just telling you what's written here. Firdaus Nama, then, there's a downs here. The book was a tough sell, and this award will hopefully help it find more readers. It will hopefully also remind the writers in this audience, and this is a Karachi audience, so there will be more than a few, that the novel form is called novel for a reason. Take your freedom on the page and run with it. Yes, I know. So I'm a total fraud because I pronounced it wrong, and also then I got a photograph accepting the prize. We now have a fantastic performance for you from Shima Kirmani and her troupe, and it's called The Rhythms of Tradition, and they are very happy. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Nighat Chaudhary. and her troupe, Rhythms of Tradition. And tonight they present Rhythms of Tradition, a Kathak recital that brings to life one of Pakistan's oldest classical art forms. Kathak is a language of the body where gesture, rhythm, and expression come together to tell stories through movement and music. Leading the event tonight is Nighat Chaudhary, Pride of Performance awardee and one of Pakistan's foremost Kathak exponents. For over 4 decades, she has upheld and reimagined the form. Founded and directed by her, Kathak Souls Dance Company, Pakistan's first professional Kathak ensemble, features tonight's performers Alina Akbar, Arham Sharif Hashmi, Insha Hashmani, Minha Jasir Abro, and Shanze Yusuf. The recital opens with an invocation to Maula Ali, followed by the Salami. This leads into Sargam by Kathak Souls, Faiz is Bol, Ke Lab Azad Hai Tere, and culminates in a powerful Teental Soro by Nighat Chaudhary herself, inherited from her guru Pandit Dugra Lal Ji of the Jaipur Gharana. Please welcome Nighat Chaudhary and the Kathak Souls Dance Company. There are sessions that have started in the other rooms, but I really highly recommend that you watch this and the Jameel Delvi film, which is preceded by an excellent talk by our very own Senator Javed Jabbar.
میں تیری شرن آئے بیچاری یہ دامن بھر دے میرے مولا میں تیری شرن آئے بیچاری یہ دامن بھر دے میرے مولا میرا نہ کوئی سہارا ہے نہ کوئی اور ہمارا ہے میں جاؤں نا خالی بیچاری یہ دامن بھر دے میرے
Hey tat hey. Dig da dig dig tat tat hey.
धनी सरी सा नि सरी मगे सरी मा मा दा दा मा दा रे धनी सा रे मा धा नि सा रे मा पा मा रे सा पा मा रे सा पा ग म सा ग नि सा ग म पा नि सा नि मा पा सा नि सा पा ग म सा नि सा ग म सा ग नि सा पा सा नि मा पा
Thank you so much. Hello, can you all hear me? Thank you so much for being here, for being part of this amazing festival. I'd like to introduce my dance company. My students have been learning with me for over 2 years now. So, Mina, Arham, Alena, Shanze, and Incha, Kathak Souls. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank KLF, the organizers, Ubaid on the music, Muniza, wherever you are, and all the people that were behind making the show happen today. Thank you so much. And we thank you, the audience. Without you, we would be nothing. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated for another session, Jinnah's Vision for a Plural Pakistan. May I please invite Aisha Tami Haq up on the stage to moderate this session. It's a conversation with Javed Jabbar.